What's up? It's your boy Carcino here. Want to also thank you guys, man, for the support you guys been showing the page. You guys have really been keeping the page going strong against all the adversity and everything we've been facing during these tough times for everybody. Listen, I also want to say thank you to those who are supporting the Patreon. It's very important that you go over there and say, hey, this is what I want to do. I want to support the real and be a part of it. I appreciate that. And for those who feel like they just can't, everything you've done has been great. From donating to the Patreon, my Cash App, Carcino, the Stream Lab. So definitely I want to show all you guys support today, because you guys have been making it, go around. We started with boxingsocialist.com. Here, before it was Boxing Socialist, we were just on YouTube, just making videos. Then we came out with the boxing website, boxingsocialist.com, and got that really, steamrolling into other other income streams, and just pouring out knowledge to the rest of the world. Now, once again, here we are, spreading knowledge to the rest of the world. Now, we have noticed a change in our society. Our society has become less educated, more hostile, more violent, more tempted to do things that their common sense levels would tell them this isn't okay to do. We have seen this behavior expand every year for the worse. Because when you don't have information, you don't have knowledge, you follow what you see and what you hear. And the person around you don't have any information to share to you, things would only get worse. Now, when hip-hop started to really make its push in the 1980s, it was looked at as a fad and ignored by the majority of the music industry. They laughed. Even when Run DMC had Walk This Way, they were like, you can walk any way you want, just don't come here. Rappers wouldn't dare use profanity in their lyrics, because they know that would limit any chance they had of being taken seriously, radio play, and the rights that they had as a civilian, as a human being, would be ignored. They will be looked at as some type of novelty that need to be extinguished. So, as the years moved on, 2 Live Crew No, you remember 2 Live Crew down in Miami. They have been performing. Luther Campbell came up with an idea, because down south is what they used to call the juke joints. People go in there and party and dance. They didn't like all this New York hippity hoppity stuff. It didn't relate to what they were doing. So you get 2 Live Crew, and these guys are talking vile. Now, they already had this NWA thing happening in California that was rising up, but this 2 Live Crew, they were really suggestive and had women and putting on these shows, and women are coming in basically nothing. And all of these things are happening at a time where Fight the Power was out. People were taking off their gold chain, wearing African medallions around their neck. This one person went to bat for this country, for hip hop rather, and that was Luther Campbell. The government saw to the fact that something's going on here. And it wasn't in a positive light. What they saw was something that was crippling to their households. It was affecting their children. So what did they do? Just like any other concerned parent, they panicked. And the politicians were secretly coming up with a law that will prohibit hip-hop artists from having the freedom of speech. Hip-hop artists can only say certain things. They were taking profanity out. No more suggestive lyrics. And this was against the constitutional right. As they pointed out, that other rock groups and other white groups have said whatever the hell they wanted, and no one batted an eye. So they took this to court, spent thousands and thousands and thousands upon dollars, and won after his album was banned. So Banned in the USA was released. Everyone can make money off this music. And the record companies who own these guys said, look, I got guys coming in here doing this every day. We can make a lot of money off of them. They're not too bright. This is a new revenue stream. So, right away, this became the new reality. So, this was music kids would listen to, but their parents would definitely not want them to hear it, which made the kids want to hear it more because it was restricted from their ears. So, music that's restricted from their ears, kids want to hear it. Shh, gotta hear it. Mom and dad can't hear me. So, they want to do it that way, right? Now, let's get it this way and get through it, because I got to get up and start my day. This new form of industry led to the change in all music. As that type of rap had its category, other rap had its day. But then, other rappers were starting to conform to what the consensus was. They felt, well, the audience was believing that if we're not cursing, we're not using profanity, we're not going all out, we're not being real. So when that notion came around that you're not being real if you're not using profanity, you're not cursing, you're not screaming and yelling at the top of your lungs, you're not disrespecting women in the most vile way, you ain't being real. You giving me some soap opera junk. That's the narrative. Was it the truth? No. But that's the narrative. And what it was doing was running people away from the artists that they were supporting to these new vile artists who were 10 times less than what the other artists were. It wasn't about music no more. It was about being more vile. Then you start seeing other slight changes. Little slight changes. Dressing, the clothing, Women used to wear baggy clothes to try to dress like the hip hop guys, and the girls who were dancing, they were covering their bodies. Now, that doesn't even exist. The less they wear, the more sexier they feel. And these are young girls. Female rappers wouldn't go down this road. They normally kept their raps clean and stayed on a even keel. When rappers such as Little Kim came into play, people were not prepared for Little Kim or Foxy Brown. They were a bunch of young women who were a product of this new culture, uncensored situation. And they just made her, well, them, sex symbols for the hip hop industry and genre. They represented the girls that were in the clubs. They represented those girls that were out there 24/7, who was going out partying, getting their hair done, and they didn't care about being a man and being a woman. They cared about, I'm a hoe, and that's okay. I mean, Eazy-E had a group called Hoes with Attitudes. Women at that time thought that was very offensive and wouldn't get down with it, and it wasn't very successful. Now, moving on along, things started to get a lot more crazy when people started looking at narratives. They said, well, what is the narrative here? I'm not really getting it. Well, the narrative is this: do right by others and treat them the same way you want to be treated, but do not lose your integrity at any cost. Because what has happened is that was the start, the impetus of changing in the guards. Big chain stores such as Walmart, Target, that sold music and movies, there was certain music they wouldn't sell. They would sell Snoop Dogg, but they wouldn't sell Little Kim. Before, Doggy Style couldn't be bought in a Walmart or Target. Then Snoop was allowed to be in there, but Little Kim was excluded. So her debut album was excluded from Walmart, and it was called Hardcore, and they thought it was too sexually aggressive for the store. Now, there was a big conflict over this because they lost a lot of revenue based on the fact that they were sticking to codes and guidelines that they felt wasn't even fallible for them or worth it. But when you start selling millions of records and you had $0 in your bottom line, that can really affect your pockets. As it became a booming business industry. So now the southern rappers and down south, this is what they do. They make their own hip hop club music so girls could shake their butts and get on down. That music is now spreading. That Miami Luther Campbell music. And now there's no more variation. Everybody's music sound like that. When Laffy Taffy and all these other songs start coming out, you know, Nelly's dropping Do Your Tail Feather. all these different songs. But there's one reality that is a constant. This music is tearing up our society. It is promoted and used as a weapon in the black community more than any. You got all these women supercharged up to want to show their bodies, to show how sexy they are and how sexy they can be. That's it. The hip hop and R&B industry had never crossed paths like never before. You can't tell a hip hop artist from an R&B artist. Nobody's wearing clothes. Every song is about sex. And they said 89% of rap music is about sex. 89%? Some people said, man, I thought that would be higher. 89% of the music. I guess they've only counted back to, I guess those other years or the early years when people talked about content and, you know, other different things going on in the world. But 89%? That's a high number. But that must be in the new era. I don't think they went back to the core beginning. Now, this thing is not just a black issue. It is a white issue. It's a Hispanic issue. It's an issue amongst the children of America. And they put that weapon towards the minorities. Fashion. Dress like a hoe. Be like a hoe. Hip hop is now strip hop. That's it. It's strip hop now. And that's all it's going to be. Every song from R&B to rap sounds like strip club music. Strip clubs' monies goes through the roof when they play hip hop. It has gotten to such points that certain strip clubs, they ban hip hop music because they don't want the black element coming into their, or the young hip hop element coming into their establishments, which caused wars with other strippers who were there who said, I can't get money here now and you guys are forcing me out because you won't let my people in here because they keep coming in here wanting to see me but saying I can't dance to this ridiculous music. Like they don't like the music here, so they leave. You got country, rock, and you have very little rap. Like, we don't play Megan Thee Stallion in our club. Like, why wouldn't we? So they're arguing about that. And this was all before the pandemic, of course. But this goes to show you that they're aware of what the weapon is. If you don't play certain music, you cut out a certain element. Right? But think about what the music does for you. I've listened to NWA my entire life. I've heard every song, Ren, Uncle Murder, all those guys. Not once did I said, I'm finna go out and start shooting people. It's the values and the people around you which help educate you to recognize this is just entertainment. Okay, that's all this is. But when you don't know reality from entertainment and you can't separate the two and you started letting it impact your life, now you got parents who are like this and they're teaching their kids. So the parents and the kids are in the same boat. The mom's dressing like a hooker. What do you think the daughter's going to do? So this strip hop thing has gotten way out of control, and we don't have something opposite of that to put the brakes on. Everybody's music sound like you're in a strip club. Because they think, well, that's where the dollar's at. But look at what it's doing to your daughter. Look at what it's doing to the kids that you're not raising. Now, think about that for a minute. And don't forget to hit the like button, people, if you like the video. I appreciate your love and support. Here's 4 other videos you guys can click and get caught up on. And thank you again. I appreciate it.